Well, hello, my crafty friends. It's Kevin Esty here from Stamping Just for Fun, and this is the November Gentleman Crafters Design Team Blog Hop, and I'm glad you're here with me today. So, in my studio for the last couple of weeks, I've been doing nothing but Christmas cards, getting ready for the holidays, and I've been using up a lot of older stuff, newer stuff. I've got the desk covered with all the different stamp sets and embellishments and papers that I've collected over the last couple of years. All my new stuff from the July to December mini catalog. And today I thought we would do something fun with the penguins. I've been using this up, been having a lot of fun with this. I know that this is a celebration item that is done and over with, but I'll bet you everybody got a package of this paper and they're just coming around now to starting to do Christmas cards, and they're trying to think, well, what can we do with this? So I sat down and I actually did a little cheat. I have a scan and cut machine, and I spent a couple of days scanning various parts of the pages and then using software to engineer the shapes. And I used my scan and cut, and I cut out a whole package of these little characters. But if you're not lucky enough to have a scan and cut machine, it'll take you an hour or two to sit down and fussy cut the 6 pages, I think, in the pack that have the characters on them. So I got a whole box of little characters ready to go here that I've cut out of the paper. And I've been using the color palette from the paper. So there's, don't want to get it wrong, I'm going to pull it in here to make sure. So there's Balmy Blue, Calypso Coral, Fresh Freesia, Just Jade, Misty Moonlight, and Soft Sea Foam. And so I've been using that color palette and making some cards. And I'll show you what I came up with and a couple of different versions of it here. So I've got a Fresh Freesia card base with a soft seafoam matte layer on the top, and I'm using something new, something old. Going through my stash, I decided to emboss with the tin tile embossing folder, but really any embossing folder that's going to add some texture to the background would work. The snowflake one, the macrame one, any of them will work fantastic. And then I've layered some characters here. I've got some snow hills that I've done, and I've used some Stampin'. Now this is from last year, maybe even a year ago. Ice Stampin' Glitter, which is really fun. But you can use a Wink of Stella pen. You could use any other kind of glitter, or you could use a blending brush to add some blues and whatnot, grays to the snow hill. And then I've also added in an iridescent snowflake. These have been a fabulous product this year, and they're still in the mini catalog right now. You can get these. There are 24 in the package. Wonderful snowflakes, they're called. And they've got this, they're done on this beautiful iridescent paper. You just punch them out, and they add such fun. And then I'm using some snowflake sequins. I've had a few adhesive ones that were left over from last year, but there's also snowflake sequins in one of the little round sequence containers. And so I'm going to show you quickly how I put this card together. It's nothing really fancy or elaborate, but just something fun to do. Hey, and if you've got some of this paper left over, do some of these up. You don't have to use these colors. Any of the colors, you could do Misty Moonlight in the background. You could do a Fresh Freesia layer here. You could do the Balmy Blue. Use any embossing folder that you have at all. But I'm going to show you how I did the little snow hills and how I put this together. So, to start with, we got a card base. Like I said, make a card base out of whatever color that you've got on hand. I'm using Fresh Freesia, 8.5 by 5.5. For my friends across the pond, over in Europe and Australia, you're going to be doing this in metric, your standard size card base. Okay. This layer that I did and I embossed is the same height as my card, but I left it about 1/2 of an inch shorter so that I've got 1/4 of an inch on either side. Actually, it might even be 3/8 inch. If I look on my grid paper here, yeah, I cut it at 3.5 inch wide. But you cut it just so that it's got a good border down either side. Okay, so let's fold and was going to burnish, but somebody stole my bone folder. Here we are. Fold and burnish, and then I'm just going to use a good amount of liquid glue on the back of this layer, simply because of all the texture on it. Some of the glue is going to get lost up inside the texture holes, so I'm just going to stand it up. I like to do that because that allows me to get it flat on the bottom. That goes on there like that. Then, in my pile of stuff here, I've got one of those iridescent snowflakes that I punched out. And one side of them is just plain white, and the other side has this iridescent, sort of a plastic laminate on it. You can decide which side you want up. If you like the white side, that's fine. You can also, with a blending brush or your Stampin' Blends, color in the snowflake however you'd like to do if you want to make it a different color. So I'm just going to put a dab of glue in the middle, and I'm going to put it here towards the top of the card and just press it down in the middle. I'm purposely not gluing anything else because I like the fact that with the texture on this embossed piece, it the bumps kind of raise up the snowflake a little bit in spots, and so it's automatically giving me, you can see it, some shadow behind it in different spots. So it's like having it up on a dimensional, but it's not. So just press real good there in the middle so that it doesn't get away. Then I've got some characters cut out here. Got a fox, got a penguin, and I picked 4 because I'm going to put 3 on the front and 1 inside. And we're going to come back to those in just a second. I've also got a little birdie and a little tree. I have a piece of white, just regular white paper, that is 2 inches by the same 3.5 inch width as my front. This is going to become my snow hill. Now there's 2 parts to this. There's a back part, there's a front part. And so this is all I do. I start about, I don't know, 1/2 inch in, and I'm going to make a hill, and I'm going to make a swale, and then I'm going to come back up to about that same 1/2 inch mark and come off the side. So that's going to be my snow hill for the front. This is going to be my snow hill for the back. Now I don't want that real hard point on that end, so I'm just going to round that off a little there like that. All right, this piece can go right on the front of the card. So we're going to put some glue on there. And then that piece is going to go right on the front of the card. I'm going to do that same thing again where I stand it up and just tap it down well. That way I know it's all level across the bottom. Okay, that serves 2 purposes. When you're putting your characters on the card, you may not get them all the way down below your hill, and they look like they're floating in the air. So that just gives us some white to fill in this little gap below here, so it looks like they're sitting on a hill. You're not going to see much of it in the background, depending upon how you arrange your characters. So the fact that it has a little bit of a hill shape to it really doesn't matter. Depending upon how you arrange your characters, you might see a little bit of it, but it's not a big concern, which is also why I'm not putting any glitter on that layer. So I'm just going to put my polar bear on there. Actually, do you know what? Now that I've said glitter, I'm just thinking my glitter layer needs a second to dry. I better do my glitter layer. So here's what I do. Let me pull in a Stampin' Pierce mat so we've got some contrast here so you can see. So I am just going to, on a bit of an angle, ride the edge of the paper down with my glue, and I'm just going to leave a little bead of glue, and I mean little. It doesn't need to be big gobby glue, but I'm just riding it down the very edge. And if it does gob up a little, it doesn't matter. That's perfectly fine. It makes it look more natural. So I'm just riding that down the edge like so. go. That's that. And then I'm going to grab a piece of scrap paper. And I'm going to grab my little bottle of glitter. And if you're doing this with a Wink of Stella pen, then you just take the Wink of Stella pen and go along the edge of it. You could do the whole thing in glitter if you wanted to. I just thought the edge of it done in this glitter looked kind of neat. It looks kind of snowy. Isn't that neat? Okay, so I'm just going to set that up here out of the way for a second to dry. We'll get this all put back in the container. And out of the way. Okay, let's go back to our characters. So we got our polar bear buddy in the middle. Mr. Snowman guy is going to go on the right-hand side here. And he's kind of going to lean off a little bit so his hand can come over the edge here. That's perfectly fine. As long as it's within the framework of the card, it'll fit in the envelope good. And our little penguin guy, do you know what? I'm going to put the little penguin guy up on some dimensionals. Let's put a few dimensionals behind Mr. Penguin. There we go. That'll give some depth to the card. I don't know why these things are sticking to me well today, but they're sticking to me well. Okay, and he's going to lean off the side a little bit here like that. Okay, and then I need a little dimensional on the back of the bird. And we'll stick the bird up here like this in this corner. Okay, then we can do some stamping. So I'm going to pull in a little 1/2-inch scrap of paper that I've got that measures about 2¼ inches long. These little 1/2-inch scraps are handy to have on hand. And I've got all my different Christmas stamp sets out here on the go. So I'm using Itty Bitty Christmas, Greatest Part of Christmas. From Itty Bitty Christmas, I am using the Happy Holidays for my front, and inside I'm going to put the greatest part of Christmas is the time spent with those we hold most dear, because here's a group of friends having a lot of fun at Christmas. And I'm going to use Misty Moonlight ink. So we get our Misty Moonlight ink. I have both stamps on the same block. I just put them on opposite sides. So I've got my Happy Holidays here. And I'm going to do my Happy Holidays right here to one end of this little 1/2-inch strip like that. And then I am going to flag the end a little like that. And that's going to go on here. And then for my inside, I want the sentiment that's on the other side of my block here. The greatest part of Christmas is the time spent with those we hold most dear. And I'm just going to put that towards the top like that. And we're done with the ink. And then I have this little character here, little foxy guy. He's gonna go on the inside like this. And a little tree. Like that. And then this is all gonna go on the inside of the card. So see, these cards don't have to be complicated, but beautiful just the same. A little bit of prep work involved in getting all the characters and everything cut out ahead of time, but they just add something extra special to it. I just bent his paw, so I'm going to have to glue his paw down. I caught it on my finger when I was smoothing things out. So I'll stick him down there real good. There we go. Okay, so our inside is done. Now we just need our sentiment on the front, and I'm going to bump that up on dimensionals. So I'm going to stick some little dimensionals on the back here. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. And then we need some of those little iridescent snowflakes. And I got a few left here. They have every color of the sun when they're under the light. There's green, there's purple, there's yellow, there's pink, there's blue. So they match almost perfectly with this paper. They're the colors in this paper because there's blues and pinks and greens. And so I'm just going to pop some of those on there like that. There we are. Now, one final thing to do. See if I'm not going to mush it too much because I don't want all the glitter to fall off. But we're going to put some dimensionals on the back of our little piece of paper for the snow hill. Oh, these things are sticky all over everywhere today. There we go. And then this just lines up on the bottom edge. Get on there, you go. Like that. And there, you can see my polar bear doesn't quite come all the way to the bottom. So if I hadn't put that white piece in behind, you'd be seeing the green and they'd look like they were floating in the sky. So just that, and there a little bit of the hill peeked out here. So that just helped to make it look more like they're in the snow. Okay, last thing we got to do is decorate an envelope because we've got to have a decorated envelope to go with this. So a 2 1/4 inch by, I think I just, out of the 12 by 12, I cut it at 6. So you get two pieces out of your 2 1/4 inch strip. Drag it around here. And we just go around like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing I did with the card. Close my flap up. Put this on here like this. And then tap it down on the desk to make sure that it's all level at the top. And then we'll give it a little iron here with the bone folder. And then we just trim off the extra. There we go. So this could even be something to keep the kids busy with. If you have all the characters and everything all cut out and all the pieces already done, ready to go, who's to say that they couldn't just glue everything together? And you know what? I think it needs a little character on the front of the envelope. So I am just going to put, because there's tons of them in the package, good heavens, out of this one package, I've made 20 or 30 of these cards already, and I still have, oh, there's got to be 100 characters left here. Tons and tons. There we go. Penguin on the front, the freesia paper on the back, and I'll bring my other ones in here to show. Let's see, so I did the snowman, the penguin, the polar bear on this one, the polar bear with the green scarf on this one, and one of the little penguins. And on this one, going with the freesia theme, we got a penguin with a freesia hat and a fox with a freesia scarf, and snowman on the inside of that one, and the little sleeping fox on the inside of this one. So lots of different variations that you can do with this. So I hope you enjoyed that. Like I said, this is the November Gentleman Crafters blog hop, so please go to the bottom of the page. If you happen to be watching this video on my YouTube channel and you're not at my blog hop post, go on over to stampingjustforfun.ca. This will be the first post on the site right at the top of the page. Scroll down to the bottom, and you're going to find a list of all the other Gentleman Crafters names, and click a name and it'll take you through to their blog post as well. So I hope you have a really good November, getting ready for Christmas, and we'll see you again at the beginning of December for a really special Gentleman Crafters Christmas blog hop. Have a great day. Bye-bye.